Hello YouTube and welcome to the second video in my super duper Christmas streak, I suppose. I don't really know what to call it. Anyway, 4 days, 4 videos. Today the second. If you haven't seen the video of yesterday about the exotic metals of Tamriel, go and watch it right now. Otherwise, let's kick off with this video on Cyrus, the hero from the Elder Scrolls Redguard. Before we can really start with this kind of profile on Cyrus, you really need to know the historical background of the Elder Scrolls Redguard, or no, the Elder Scrolls Adventures Redguard, since it's a spin-off. But I personally think that whatever I would do to explain the story, I would just half-ass it, and I would not do it as good as the original game intro. So I will show the original game intro right now. Enjoy this 1997 piece of Elder Scrolls history before I continue with the video.
It is late in the Second Era, a time of war, as the empire of Tiber Septim sweeps through the kingdoms of Tamriel in a glorious bid for conquest. Septim is opposed on all sides, but never more fiercely than by Hammerfell, the ancestral home of the Redguards. The High King of Hammerfell, Thasard II, resists the Imperial invasions even as he sees other kingdoms crumble. Until at last, without warning and surprisingly devoid of court treachery, death takes its full measure. With its High King dead, Hammerfell is crippled, plunging into a bloody civil war between the crowns, fighting for their homeland's continued sovereignty, and the forebears, who have finally accepted the Emperor's rule. The crowns, led by the heir to Thasard, Prince Ator, are continually victorious, spilling the blood of the forebears across Hammerfell's sands. From his seat of power in the port city of Stros-Makai, Prince Ator slowly reunites his father's unraveled kingdom. Feeling their impending defeat, the forebears sign a pact with the Emperor, allowing him to bring his armies in, crush the crowns, and rule Hammerfell as his own. Tiber Septim's armies prove too much for the proud Redguard crowns. Tiber Septim sends his best commander, Lord Richten, to Stros-Makai to close the grip on Prince Ator and the crowns. The prince rallies his forces for one last stand. Knowing that Hammerfell's sovereignty is at stake, the crown forces match the might of the Empire, meeting them in the harbor of Stros-Makai for the final battle. The fighting is fierce. Lord Richten, having seen the prince's victories at sea before, decides to bring his last resource to the fore. The dragon, Nathalilagus, proud jewel of the Imperial crown. Ator commands his archers to ready their weapons, but is struck down himself by Richten's assassin, felled by an arrow whose poison spreads too fast. Ator's wizard attempts to save the prince, but the dragon ends his magic and the crown's hope for victory in a single fiery breath. Having conquered the crowns, the Emperor's forces claim rule over all of Hammerfell. Imperial garrisons are stationed at every city, and Richten himself is named provisional governor of Stros-Makai. Months pass. The Redguards of Hammerfell, both crown and forebear, learn to live under the new Imperial rule, and Tiber Septim extends his reach into the rest of Tamriel. It is only through fate that any of this will come to concern our hero, Cyrus, a Redguard who long ago left Hammerfell to wander the borderlands of the Empire.
I realize that this all looks a little bit gimmicky and old, but I really like the narrating style. You might not like it, but I absolutely love this intro. So, remember the intro. A lot of the characters mentioned in it will be important for the story going forward. So, Cyrus, let's talk about him now. Cyrus was a Redguard, born around the year 832 of the Second Era in a family loyal to the Crowns, a faction in Hammerfell. He had one older sibling, Izara. Izara, his older sister, was married to the actor Hakan. Hakan was the one who trained Cyrus with the sword, and taught him the meaning of the crowns and the forebears politics from the side of the forebears, since Hakan was a forebear, and Cyrus was from a family that was very loyal to the crowns. Later in his life, Cyrus attempted to write a play about the origins of the Redguards, their landing on Tamriel, and their wars against the orcs. This in an attempt to solve the conflict between the crowns and the forebears, in some sort of attempt to show that they were all Redguards and that they were in this together. This actually worked for some time, and the play was hugely successful, and the crowns and the forebears celebrated the play together in the streets. This celebration, however, was only very short-lived, because it was interrupted by his drunk brother-in-law Hakan, who challenged Cyrus to a duel. This ended in Cyrus giving Hakan a stab in the chest, killing him. This made Cyrus an outlaw, and the entire conflict that had ended with the play sparked up again after this murder. One of the friends from his childhood, Tobias, an older pirate, secretly took him into his crew and helped him flee from the city. After this, he and Tobias worked as pirate mercenaries for a Khajiit named Sarata, doing missions all around Tamriel, even sailing as far as Morrowind to free some slaves from Tyr. However, Cyrus's real story starts in the Second Era, during the conquerings of Tiber Septim. It was the year 864 of the Second Era. Cyrus met with his employer, Sarata, in one of the taverns of Wayrest. However, Sarata did not give him a job, instead he gave him a letter from the old Tobias. The letter told Cyrus that his sister, Izara, had not been seen by anyone for a very long time. This caused Cyrus to check up on his sister, and he booked passage to Strosmakai. On his way there were some pirates of the Restless League to be dealt with, but Cyrus defeated them. This is actually the first bit of gameplay that players get in the Elder Scrolls Adventures Redguard. When he arrived on Strosmakai, he received a message from Tobias to meet him at the Dragontail Inn. The Dragging Tail, not the Dragon Tail. It's like a wordplay. He talks with Tobias about his missing sister. They argue whether she could have been involved in a war with Tiber Septim or with the Forebears. However, Tobias remembered that she was among the survivors of the Battle of Strosmakai, so that was not the case. But she did disappear after the Imperials landed. This led Cyrus to believe that the Imperial governor of Strosmakai, Richten, knew more about the disappearance of his sister. After this, Cyrus met with a man called Kotor, who tasked him to retrieve an amulet from the slowed necromancer Ngasta in exchange for gold. This in service to the Empire, and in the extension the governor Richten. After Cyrus retrieved the amulet, he brought it to Governor Richten, and in this meeting demanded information on his sister. But Richten lied to him, saying that he knew nothing of her disappearance and that she was probably affiliated with the Restless League, the pirates that had attacked him on their way to Strosmakai. The Restless League were rebels that were opposing the Redguard monarchy, but also opposed the Empire, since the Empire had outlawed their existence, due to them not fitting into the Imperial law. Cyrus did not believe him, and he threatened the governor. He even killed 3 of the governor's guards. After this, he was quickly knocked out by the personal assassin of Richten, a Dunmer named Dram. Remember his name, he will be important in the story going forward. He was then imprisoned in the catacombs of the castle. But he managed to escape the catacombs, and decided that he had to find the Restless League before Richten would find them, hoping that they could find him, help him find his sister. After a good long time of searching, he actually found them, after a lot of puzzles. When he found them, he found out that his sister was indeed a member, and that they were rebelling against the Imperial rule on the island. But he also did not know where she was. So he searched her old house with them, and he opened her journal which he found there. The journal had been locked by a lock only openable using her blood or that of her family. So Cyrus's blood also worked. He learned that she had left the Restless League, taking a mysterious soul gem with her that contained the soul, because she was frustrated with that the Restless League did not want to take action to take back Strosmakai after Prince Ator had died. He learned from the leader of the Restless League that this soul gem actually contained the soul of Prince Ator, and that by leaving with it she had completely diminished the League's spirits, further weakening them and making them even weaker than before, as I said. According to the leader of the Restless League, he would need to find that soul gem, because where the soul gem was, he would probably find his sister as well. Since soul gems are a matter of magic, he started with searching at the local mages guild. He there learned that his sister had stopped by there with the soul gem in hopes that they could get things done with the soul gem, since he apparently wanted to use it to resurrect Prince Thor, since he had once loved him. She and some other guy, Johto from the Mages Guild, had worked day and night in their pursuit of this end, but at one point Richten had found out, and he had set an agent that arrested Johto. At the Mages Guild, they told him that they don't really know what happened to her then, only Johto would know, who is now rotting away in an Imperial cell. Cyrus decides to go and free him, but before he can escape, he is confronted by the Archmage of the guild, telling him that if he speaks a word of this matter, the entire guild may be shut down by the Empire. Therefore, the Archmage decided to have a more permanent way to keep him silent. He transforms Cyrus into a small creature called a gremlin, as which he cannot speak. Gremlin Cyrus flees the guild. With great effort he managed to infiltrate the Imperial jail as a gremlin and find Johto, who then changed him back while using magic. Johto tells him the experiments on the soul gem failed and that Johto told Izara that only one person on the entire island would be able to resurrect the prince, the necromancer, Nagasta. Even though Johto had warned Izara, she persisted on going, for Izara has loved the prince and wanted to see him resurrected. Cyrus decided he would need to go to Nagasta to get his sister back. But he and Johto probably thought that he wouldn't give her up very easily, so he needed to prepare for a fight with Nagasta. Johto told Cyrus how to best prepare for the fight with Nagasta, on how he could actually survive a duel with the mage. But then the assassin of Richten comes in and shoots Johto. Cyrus and the assassin, Dram, fought. Cyrus then gravely injured Dram, and Dram used a teleportation spell to escape when he was gravely wounded. Cyrus then escaped and went out in search for the Flask of Lilandriel, the only artifact powerful enough to injure Nagasta. After a long hunt for the flask, he finally managed to find it, and set out to the island of Nagasta once more to confront the necromancer. Inside the tower on the necromancer's island he actually finds Izara, but she appeared to be under some sort of spell, as if she was asleep. Then Nagasta teleports into the room and tells Cyrus that she came to him for services, but that he gifted her to the Daedric Lord Clavicus Vile, because he didn't want to help her, of course. He then tells him that the soul gem with Prince Thor's soul was actually embedded within the amulet that he had Cyrus deliver to Lord Richten at the very beginning of his adventure. After hearing this, Cyrus killed Nagasta in a fight. Using a method learned from Nagasta's books, he then traveled to the realm of Clavicus Vile using the ingredients in Nagasta's lab. He dared to talk to the Lord Clavicus Vile. Vile blamed him for killing Nagasta, his #1 source of entertainment, and demanded that Cyrus would give him something interesting in return for his sister's soul. So, Cyrus decided to give him the Flask of Lilandriel. This pleased Vile, but it was not enough. So he decided to play a game against Vile. If he lost, Cyrus' soul would also go to Vile, but if Cyrus won, Vile would give him his sister's soul and let him leave the realm. Vile presented him with a riddle then, and Cyrus managed to solve it and gains his sister's soul. He then awakens Izara with her soul, and they decide to go to the Restless League together. They have a meeting with the leadership, and Cyrus then officially joins the League, for better or worse. Cyrus then decides that he will go and steal back the amulet from Richten, who keeps it in the palace in the treasure vaults. However, once at the lowest parts of the vaults, he finds the Imperial dragon there, Nafali Largus, who was tasked by Tiber Septim himself to guard the prince's soul within the soul gem. Cyrus fought and killed the dragon to get the soul gem. Then he and a party of mages, Izara and some members of the Restless League then met in secret in the temple of Strosmakai and attempted to resurrect Prince Thor. This, however, went a lot different than expected, as the soul of Prince Thor decided himself to go into the sword of Prince Thor instead of the body. This sword then became known as the Soul Sword. With the soul of the prince inside it, the sword guided Cyrus to the Imperial Palace to kill Governor Richten and restore the sovereignty of Strosmakai. There, Cyrus once again fought Dram, who now ran off after defeat. Cyrus then found out that Richten had fled to his Dwemer airship, on which I made a video that's in the description. He then fought his way to the ship and faced Richten. After defeating Richten, Richten tried to distract Cyrus. This worked, and the Dunmer assassin Dram appeared, putting a knife to Cyrus' throat and telling him to drop the soul sword. And Cyrus decided to do just that. But the soul of Prince Hathor did not quietly agree. And the soul of Prince Hathor made the sword fly up, and it killed Richten, and then the assassin Dram. Cyrus then took the sword and fled the airship, making it crash in the process. Down on the ground, an uprising had successfully taken over Stros M'Kai and disposed of the Imperial soldiers. This caused Itzara to be crowned as new governor of Stros M'Kai. She then negotiated a new deal with the Empire. Stros M'Kai would still be a vassal state, but they would rule themselves. So much hope for being free from the Empire, but it's a lot better deal than what they had, as being a colony. After this, it is unknown what happened to Cyrus, just like with any Elder Scrolls protagonist. But I can honestly say that this game was really great, and if you can, I highly advise you to play it, since there is a lot more to the story than only what I have told. This is actually one of the more dialogue-intensive Elder Scrolls games. I think I like this game quite a lot to play. And that was it. It's been 12 minutes now, no, almost 13 even. And yeah, if you liked the video, give it a like, subscribe. If you want personal contact with me, my Instagram and Discord are in the comments. If you want to support me in a more personal way, you can maybe support me on Patreon. The link for that is also in the description. And then, yeah, I will see you again in the next video. That will be tomorrow. So yeah, I hope you're looking forward to it. Bye bye.